Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Today we are going to tell you all about volleyball rules. We're going to cover the differences between indoor and beach or sand volleyball and the basics you need to know to get going, as well as a few confusing rules that most people get stuck on.
I'm tired of getting angry with my friends. It's time to learn some rules. Hey man, do you want to play with me? I've never played beach volleyball before, but I used to play volleyball in high school. I don't really know the rules, but if you teach me, I think I can learn pretty quick.
You play volleyball in high school and you don't know the rules?
Yeah, but I can bump and set and spike a little bit.
Ugh. Yeah, man. Let's get started.
Hey man, how many touches do you get in volleyball?
3. So in volleyball, you get a maximum of 3 touches, right? But there's a couple of things that we need to talk about. You want to get 3 touches because you want to get 1 pass that controls the ball for your team. Then your setter, if you're playing indoor, you have a designated setter. And if you're playing beach volleyball, it's just 2 people. So everybody's a setter every time. But that second touch is designed always to set the third touch up for a spike. So the first one is a bump or a pass. The second touch is very normally a set that is supposed to set us up for a jump and a spike. So if you're playing with a few people who are just sending the ball back and forth on 1 or 2 touches, you're not going to be effective. You should always try, especially with beginners, to encourage 3 touches every single time.
But does a block count as a touch?
Indoor, no. Beach, yes. So if you're playing indoor volleyball and the other team spikes it and you're up in the net trying to block it, if that ball touches the blocker or blockers and then it continues into their court, their team now has 3 touches. If you blocked it, you can go and play that first touch. So you're actually allowed kind of 2 touches in a row, but that's the only situation you can do that. On beach volleyball, where you have 2-on-2, if the blocker touches it, that actually counts as the team's first touch. So the defender or the blocker can then pursue that ball, and the final touch, the third touch, must go over the net.
So when I'm passing the first ball, do I have to pass it like this or can I pass it like this?
For indoor, you could do both. For beach, we recommend only this. If you're playing indoor volleyball or 6-on-6, you want to take most of the serve receive like this with your platform, okay? This is called your platform, your bump, your pass, or your serve receive. Those are all different names for it. But you can also, in indoor, receive the ball like this for your first touch with an overhand pass, and some people call it a set. We're not gonna call it a set until we're actually setting our hitter, but it's gonna be called an overhand pass. In beach volleyball, there are very strict rules with receiving the ball with your hands. So the number 1 thing we recommend is every single serve receive, you don't use your hands. You use your forearm pass or your bump. It's very important to getting to the next level in beach volleyball. Don't receive the first touch, the serve, with your open hands. Use your platform. It's not necessarily illegal in beach volleyball to take the ball with your fingers, but the rules are so strict that you're gonna get in trouble if you do it. So if it does come high and fast, you can use what we call a tomahawk, where you take your platform, you turn it upside down, and you use the karate chop parts of your hands to receive that. Do not slap the ball overhand for your first touch.
What does a set contact look like?
Let me show you that too. A lot of players, when they're just learning how to set, they kind of slap the ball forward with their fingers like this, or they hit the ball really solid. The type of rebound that you're looking for out of a set would be similar to how a basketball is dribbled. You need that same soft receive and then out, but it is not with the tops of your fingers like this. Instead, create a diamond, or we like to call a cheeseburger shape, a giant cheeseburger with your hands. The ball will come into your hands and your wrists will rotate back, and then you will push the ball forward and out just like this. We have a slew of setting videos, but here is our favorite. It talks about the 7 biggest mistakes that players made. Here it is.
Oh, I love spiking. How do I spike?
Let me show you that too. I'm gonna give you the really basics of how to spike a volleyball. If you want to learn exactly how to do it and dive really deep in, check out this video. When you're setting yourself up for a spike, you should be far from the net. You should not wait at the net for a spike. Your hitting window is going to be small and it's going to be more difficult to set you. So we recommend that when you start waiting for a spike and you're ready to hit, you should be behind half court, and then you should call for that set on the net. When you do jump, you're going to pull yourself to a bow and arrow position that looks like this, and you're going to jump and then hit the ball up high using this part of your hand. Again, when we talked about tipping, do not use your fingertips to spike a ball, especially not in beach volleyball. You can always tip for indoor or sixes, but if you're playing 2-on-2 beach volleyball, bow and arrow, reach as high as you can and spike hitting with this part of your hand.
Do I have to be serving to score a point?
No. A long time ago, you used to have to be serving to score a point. That's what we call side out scoring. But we've moved to the rally scoring era in volleyball, and nobody, except for a few specifically old school tournaments like the Pottstown Rumble, big shout out to you guys, every single volleyball league and tournament, you can score a point when you are receiving or serving. You do not have to be serving to score a point. Every time a play ends, somebody is awarded a point.
Is a serve allowed to hit the net and then go over?
Yes. This is another one of those old rules that we don't play by anymore. Back in the day, you used to have to serve and make sure that it cleared the net, and if it hit the net, it didn't count. But nowadays, when we're playing beach volleyball or indoor volleyball, if you serve and the ball hits the net and then goes on to the other side, the play is live and it continues. That is a good serve. The only caveat that we're going through currently, if you're watching this video in 2022, is the AVP has a freeze point, which means that on match point, they go back to a let serve system, which means that if you serve and you hit the net and it goes over, that is a let or a redo, and you have one more chance to get the ball to go clean over the net. They've instituted this rule just to see if they can make the end of the matches more exciting, because nobody wants to see an ace on the last point that hits the net and is basically a lucky play where the defense doesn't even get to play.
Does it matter where I serve from?
No, so long as you're behind the line. Years ago in indoor volleyball, you had to serve from the back right side of the court, but they've gotten rid of that in recent times. So long as you are behind the service line or the baseline, they're both called the service line, the baseline, or some people call it the end line. So long as you're behind that, you can serve over the net. You also cannot be outside the sideline. So if I step on or outside the sideline, that is an illegal serve. I have to be between the sidelines and behind the service line. If I step on the line and then contact, that is an illegal serve. I can jump, so I can do this, serve, jump, and land inside, so long as I've contacted the serve before I land in the playing area. So I can serve from anywhere, right, middle, or left, and when the ball goes over the net, it has to go between the two antennas that represent the sidelines. If my serve goes directly over the top of the antenna and then lands in the court, it is illegal because it passed over the out of bounds marker. The antennas are actually infinite out of bounds lines and the ball cannot cross over them.
Does it matter what body part I use?
No, you can use anything. Just so we're clear, you cannot serve with your feet. You're supposed to serve with one arm. But if you're in the middle of a point and you're playing and you happen to pass it or set it, the first, second, or third touch, you're allowed to use any body part you want. That includes your feet or your head.
Am I allowed to tip it, catch it, throw it like I'm playing basketball or something?
In indoor, kind of. And in beach, no. First, let's talk about the pass when we're not attacking. You do not want to leave your hands open like this and try to grab it or scoop it up with your fingers. It should bounce off of your platform, or if you do use an open hand, it should bounce. So whether you're playing indoor or beach, a touch like this is okay. A touch like this is okay. Once you get your fingers involved like this, that is not allowed. So do not scoop and grab with your fingers, leave them open and it can pop. That's fine. We just recommend building your platform like this. Fingers perpendicular, thumbs parallel, and use your forearms to touch the ball. When you're attacking or sending the ball over the net, in indoor, it is allowed to set or throw the ball over the net. Then it's okay to use finger action. But if it's beach volleyball, you cannot set the ball over the net unless you are facing exactly where you are sending the ball, unless it's an accident. If you're attacking for indoor, you can tip or dunk. Now the key is that you don't bring it from behind your head, hold it, and then windmill it, okay? It should be a tip, not a grab and a throw. Very important. But in beach volleyball, you cannot do that when you're attacking. For 2-on-2 beach volleyball, you have to hit it with a solid bounce contact or a pokey. But in beach volleyball, when you're attacking, you cannot control the ball with your finger pads.
What does the game end at?
21 in beach, 25 in indoor. When you're playing indoor volleyball, we play the best of 5 sets, and each of those sets is to 25 points, win by 2. The caveat is if you go to a 5th and deciding set, that is played to 15. Again, all sets need to be won by 2. The first team to get 3 sets wins the match. For indoor volleyball, you switch sides of the net at the end of every set. When you're playing beach volleyball, we play to the best of 3 sets, and those sets are 21, 21, and if it's a deciding 3rd set, you play to 15. Again, you have to win by 2 in order to close out the set and the match. But there is a little difference in when we change sides. Because there's wind and sun and sometimes an ocean, in beach volleyball, we switch sides of the net every 7 points. Every 7 points, you're going to switch sides of the net. And you switch sides of the net at the end of a set. So for the sets that go to 21, you are switching sides every 7 points. And for the 3rd and deciding set where you're playing to 15, you actually switch sides every 5 points to balance out the wind and the sun and the environment. At the beginning of the match, the sides and who serves and who serve receives is usually decided by a coin flip if you're in an official match, rock, paper, scissors, or our favorite, princess, hunter, bear. The winner of this gets to choose if they want to receive the first ball, serve the first ball, or choose which side they're going to start on. So when you win the coin flip, you choose, do I want to start on a certain side, or do I want to serve, or do I want to receive?
Choose wisely. Is there a rotation we have to follow?
Yes. When you're playing indoor or on the beach and you're playing 6-on-6, there are usually 3 front row players and 3 back row players. If you're a front row player, it means that you can jump and block and hit close to the net. If you are a back row player, then there is a 3-meter line or a 10-foot line, and if you are going to jump and spike, you have to jump from behind that line. It's okay if you land in front of it, but you just have to jump from behind it if you want to spike. Now, for 6-on-6 beach volleyball, there really is no 10-foot line, but if you're playing, you can pretty much hit from anywhere. We just like to have our front row hitters spike on the net and our back row players play defense and pass. As far as rotations go for indoor, you are going to rotate clockwise in a circle, and the person who ends up in the back right of the court, if the net's over here, they're in the back right, we call this zone 1. That is the person that is due to serve. So you rotate into that one spot and that person serves. Now, knowing this, most players at most advanced teams don't stay in those positions. After the serve, everybody actually goes to the position that they play in. There is usually a setter, middle blocker, an outside hitter, and a right side hitter or an opposite. We also have a libero, which is a defensive specialist. But we're not going to get too far into the weeds in this video. When you're playing beach volleyball, every time your team receives serve and wins the point, you have to switch servers. So if you're serving and you win that point, you don't switch servers there. The other team, when they win a point, they take the serve, they serve, and then when we get the ball back, when they serve us and we win that point, our next server serves. So you're always alternating servers. In beach volleyball, you usually have somebody who specializes on the right side and somebody who specializes on the left side. And you usually have one specific blocker who protects the net on defense and one specific defender. Both players in beach volleyball are spikers, both players are passers, both players are setters. That's very different from indoor, where we have our very specific specialized positions. If you want to learn more about beach volleyball specific positions and what attributes and what responsibilities you have, check out this video where we go into really good detail about it.
Is the line in or out?
In both indoor volleyball and beach volleyball, if the ball lands on the line, if it touches the line when it lands, the ball is in. It is good. The only question that we have is when it's beach volleyball, sometimes there is sand splash that makes the line wiggle or move, and you just have to determine, did the ball land on the line? Did it hit the line on its landing? And if those lines move during the point and the ball lands somewhere around where that line started, then the referees and the players after the point are allowed to reset the lines to where they started. And if the ball would have landed on the line or in the court where the line was set up when the point was started, then it's good. So wherever the lines start during that point, that's where the boundaries are. If they get kicked and moved throughout the point, at the end, you are allowed to reset the lines into their original location to determine if a ball was in or out. That ball is in.
Am I allowed to touch the net?
No, never.
What about the ball?
That's fine. In volleyball, both in indoor and beach, you are not allowed to touch the net while in the action of playing the ball. That means if I'm trying to block somebody and I touch the net, I'm trying to play the ball. I'm trying to stop them. So if I touch the net, it is illegal. It's the other team's point. If I'm spiking and I accidentally hit the net, it is illegal. It is the other team's point. If I'm kind of randomly hanging out and I accidentally touch the net, that's actually okay. But don't mess with it, because you don't want to give the refs a reason to make you lose the point. So don't touch the net, you will lose a point. Anytime you're in the action of playing a ball, you will lose the point when you touch the net.
How big is a volleyball court and how high is the net?
Indoor, 9x9. Beach, 8x8. Men's, 7'11" and 5/8 inches. Women's, 7'4" and 1/4 inches. Lynches. I already talked about court dimensions and net height and really specifics of building your own court or how to set up a volleyball court in this video. So if you want to check out court dimensions, size, and net height and how to build your own court, go ahead and check it out. Do you want to do the outro?
Yeah, sure. Hey, learning volleyball is really fun. Use all of these tips, share them with your friends. If you are just picking up the sport of beach volleyball, it can be a little confusing, but we've given you all the information that you need to know in order to learn and play the sport of beach volleyball at a good level.
If you want 36 of our favorite drills that you can use on your own, with a partner, or with your team, we've included those below. Just go ahead, click the link. This is 36 of our favorite drills that are super easy to learn and do, and they will help you get to at least the next level in volleyball and beach volleyball.
And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe this video and share it with your friends.
Booyah. Peace out.